5 people who have been trapped inside of a cave for more than a week were found alive. New video shows just these incredible moments from Laos when a rescue diver found the missing villagers. But officials say 2 of them are still missing. The rescue team here seen cheering and hugging. You hear them there. Look at that jubilation that is outside the cave after their discovery. The group of villagers became stuck last week after heavy rain and flash flooding blocked the exit of the cave. NBC News international correspondent Claudio Lavanga joining us now. What a development, Claudio, right? So we're hearing from one of the cave divers who was called from Thailand in to assist with this rescue. What is he saying about how the survivors are doing it and how they were able to find them?
Yes, Sam, well, absolutely an incredible rescue there. Now, according to the state news agency in Laos, basically these 5 people managed to survive all this time, 8 days inside that deep cave, because they managed to find themselves on an elevated ledge where there is a continuous airflow. Also, the rescuers said that their rescue mission was made even more difficult by several factors. First of all, these 5 people were about 1,000 feet away from the exit. Then the cave was deep underground. They had to move through very narrow spaces. Some of them were just 20 inches wide. Then also there was still the flood water, of course. They have to move through that, the continuous risk of collapse, and also the risk of contaminated air quality. Now, the rescuers say that despite of all that, they managed to find the 5 survivors. They managed to give them water. They managed to give them food. And now they're planning how to take them out of that cave while they're also looking for the 2 missing people. But of course, as the time passes by, well, the hope to find them alive is diminishing, Sam.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, Claudio. Amidst all of this happiness over the discovery of the 5 people, what about the 2 others who are still missing? Are we getting any other information on how close authorities might be to locating their whereabouts?
Well, there's not much hope to find them alive because, as they said to the news agency in Laos, these 5 people managed to stay alive, only to be found because they found this air bubble. They were standing on this elevated ledge. They were lucky. They were fortunate enough that there was a continuous airflow, so they could continue to breathe and stay alive. As per the other 2 people who got separated from the other group, well, the hope to find them alive really is diminishing. And by the way, the fact that they were located not so quickly, but definitely were located in the end, was also thanks to one of the 8 people who entered those caves that managed to get out in time, who then went to tell the authorities where he thought his friends were. Sam?
That's a great detail. Claudio Lavanga for us. Thank you so much.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.